This is the Riot podcast in which the Riot casts a pod.
Oh, and my phone
and Nikki
is
gets
ringing.
a phone call.
You really? You're quiet all morning.
Do you need to take that?
No, I don't. Because
Okay.
this podcast is more important, and it's actually my dad, and he always butt dials me constantly. So probably a good chance he's actually not even knowing he's calling me.
My dad butt dials me all
You know
the
what
time,
I don't
too.
understand? He has an iPhone. It's very hard to do that. Your screen just turns off. It locks. I don't understand why it's happening all the time.
My dad has some kind of a Moto, whatever, like Android, but same deal. Like that means
I have
that
no
his
I have no
butt has
understanding
to
of it.
manage to not only turn it on, unlock it, and then dial.
Yes. What is with it with parents and being able to do that?
How does it happen? I can't do that.
Now I just know it's like, oh, aren't you going to call your dad back? No, it's probably not on purpose. Did he actually call me?
I know my dad's actually trying to reach me if he texts me.
Yes, more
Like
along those
a phone
lines.
call? No.
Or I'll get like 2 or 3 phone calls, and then I'm like, oh, now he actually is trying to get a hold of me.
See, I actually have had to add my dad to my, like, I've got a do not disturb thing for nights. I had to take him off of it because that's the other thing is he manages to, like, butt dial, leave a 3-minute voicemail, butt dial again, leave a 3-minute voicemail, butt dial, leave a 3-minute voicemail. It's like, Dad, how are you doing this?
You can't be doing this while I'm sleeping at night.
So yeah, I had to take him off the list.
All right.
So where were we? Oh, in the podcast today, boy, we talk a lot. I joined DirecTV. Nikki breaks up with Apple Music.
And Sling TV. I broke up with a lot of people today.
She's got a lot of breaking up happening. Regional Lay's, chip flavors. We talk Godzilla, Amazon Prime, McDonald's, Nazi zombies.
All the good stuff we normally cover on the show.
Obadiah talks about how much he likes remastered movies, and then immediately receives a text about how people don't care.
That's not what the person said. You said when talking about it, you didn't think anyone would care, and they were reiterating that they in case you were wondering, did not care.
So you know what? Because it's the podcast, and sometimes I just go ahead and throw stuff in. I threw it in the podcast. I'm excited about a film remaster that's coming up.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And so
that's not a nerdy thing to me, like as in a superhero comic booky nerdy thing. It's more of a cinema.
I love that
sort
stuff
of,
so much.
the movie behind the scenes, that side of that nerddom.
Yeah, like I just love it. So hey, you guys enjoy the podcast today. Thanks for hanging with us. And as always, find more stuff at RadioU.com and consider donating. You know, the podcast doesn't happen for free, even though it does come to you for free.
This doesn't come free.
It doesn't. So if you guys can help us, that'd be awesome. Just at RadioU.com, you can click donate and give and just say, hey, I love the podcast. And that would be a huge help to us.
It would. Or you can click on the shop section if you want to check out our RadioU and Riot merchandise. Maybe that way you could support and have a new water bottle to show for it.
Wouldn't that be nice? You guys have a great day, and bye.
Awful, terrible, horrible, pathetic. Someone grab me a thesaurus. I'm gonna need more words to describe how bad these guys are. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
I think mowing the lawn is probably one of my least favorite things in the entire universe.
Some people really like it.
Why do they like it? Explain it to me, please.
That's their peaceful moment. That's their time. A trip around the yard.
I had somebody say to me that I needed to change my mentality about mowing. They're like, you need to see this as time where...
As your time?
Yes. He was like, nothing else can bother you. Like, you're out there, you're busy. Like,
yeah, that's the part that bothers you.
Yeah, and he's like, this is your space, and, nothing can intrude on this space. He's like, take your headphones, listen to something you like, just enjoy it. I'm like, I do all that, and I still hate it. Like, I still don't like mowing the lawn. I could be having my time inside where there are things
that are not mowers.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm getting over it. I tried last night. I was like, this is my time.
Let's have a moment while we mow the yard.
This is my time to relax and enjoy.
If you were a podcast, like if you had a lot to listen to, or if you could somehow, I don't know, are you supposed to like not watch a movie or watch a TV show while you're mowing?
I mean, you can always listen. Sometimes I listen to stuff on YouTube, which is
catch up on something like that.
Yeah, and I have podcasts that I listen to. I do all that.
And you still just don't like it.
Still not a fan. Like, I admire people that, do things. I just don't want to.
You already have stuff you do. Yeah. It's just not that.
I don't want to mow. And, you see people that really genuinely seem to enjoy, like, planting things and cultivating the earth. And I'm like, man, can we just go inside now? Like, can we be done right now? And, man, let me tell you something. You guys should have been... You should have been around for the dramatic reveal that when I rolled my mower out and I went to get my gas can and I realized that I didn't have any gas.
Aw, to start mowing.
That was just one of those things where you're like, okay, coping skills are deep breaths.
When really that's not a big deal.
In through the nose, up. You know what?
I mean, it is, but in the big world picture.
That extends the project at a minimum of 15 minutes.
So you got to go get a gas can filled or something?
I had to go get gas.
Yeah.
Then you have to put it in.
Oh, boy.
Then you have to start it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to push it. And then eventually you have to push it more.
I'm surprised you came to work today. It seemed like you had a busy evening.
Well, I'll tell you what. Honestly, more exhausting than the mowing itself is the emotions. Like, it's just a roller coaster.
It did sound like a roller coaster.
I mean, it just up and down and around.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you take it easy right now, okay?
And
take it easy.
I actually posted this last night, but the first thing I thought was I just wanted to scream, "Oh, the huge manatee."
Oh, the meme.
Yeah.
Aww.
That's what I thought. And I was like, well, I'll at least post it. Someone will get it.
That'll make you feel good.
I felt a lot better after I did that.
If Nikki sounds a little bored this morning, it's because Obadiah is still talking.
Too much talking.
It's the Riot on RadioU.
Talking.
Well, yesterday I did it, Nikki.
What did you do?
I'm a DirecTV customer now. But don't everybody relax.
Everybody calm down.
They're not installing a dish. I just signed up for their online service.
So this is what you're going with for the college football season?
At least for a couple of months. They had a deal. I have been really interested in an Apple TV 4K, but I felt like it was too expensive, and even though it was very nice. And they had a deal where if you were willing to prepay for 3 months of service, that you got an Apple TV 4K for free. So I started looking at it and was like, well, I'm going to pay this anyway.
Because you need it for college football. Right. You need something.
I don't do cable basically 9 months out of the year, I guess 8 months out of the year, but 3 or 4 months out of the year I do because I want to watch college football. And so last year I went with Sling, which it's funny, Sling TV, like as a provider, they're like, it's $20 a month. And then it begins.
No, it's not.
And then it begins.
If anybody has Sling for $20 a month, I'd like to congratulate you for not adding anything because it almost seems like you always have to add something.
Yeah, and so by the time I was done, I was paying $30 a month. And so I actually had thought that I would just go back to that this fall, but this was $35 a month, which means that I'm paying over the course of 3 months an additional $15 and getting an Apple TV 4K. And that's just a streaming box. But I started looking at it. I was like, yeah, you know what? This is pretty good. So I went ahead and did it. I pulled the trigger. I clicked go. Yeah.
Yay.
What a huge accomplishment, right?
You did a great job.
So,
well, it's hard to, it really is actually, it's not hard. It's not annoying. It's just you got to decide.
Yes.
Like which one's the right one, but none of them are perfect.
No, they're not.
Because somehow and somewhere, some channel or some network wants to mess you over somehow. So you can't just find the one company that works perfectly for you. There's always going to be one little thing.
Well, the thing I saw about this versus Sling is that basically all of the add-on channels that I had gotten for Sling
already up front.
They're already there. The only difference is that Sling offered, they've got a digital DVR, and I think, did you get 40 hours in there?
For the digital DVR?
I think on Sling. Do you remember?
Honestly, I've never gotten close to it.
Okay.
I need to cancel my Sling, is what I've also been reminded of this morning.
DirecTV only gives you 20 hours.
Sure.
Like, if you want more, you'd have to pay more, but I'm just like...
We're into file management anyway, so my DVR was always cleaned up.
Yeah, to me, it was just like, it's fine. I don't need it.
Couple football games here, there, you're fine.
Yeah, no big deal. So
I'm glad you got it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually kind of excited about it. I'm looking forward to playing around with that Apple TV 4K. I've looked around and, just like everything online, whether it's any good or not, is contentious.
Yeah, Easy there, everybody.
Everybody's got
Just
a thing.
let them enjoy it. I had an Apple TV years ago.
I've
but
never
now,
had one.
Now I have Rokus, which are great because we have a free RadioU Roku channel.
As a matter of fact, we do. That's actually the big argument is whether there's the Roku 4K Ultra, which I believe is what you have.
Yeah.
And then there's the Apple TV 4K. And that's if you go online to decide what to buy, that's the big argument.
And you're like, why can't RadioU have an Apple TV, channel and app? And it's a little harder on that side.
Because they're jerks.
It's just a little bit more expense.
Yeah, it really isn't easy. But I will tell you, as Nikki said, if you've got a Roku, hey, you should get our channel. And you can actually watch the Christmas in July channel on our Roku app.
What's worse than finding grounds in your coffee? Finding grounds in your coffee while listening to the Riot. It's the worst of the Riot on RadioU.
Now, Nikki and I have a phone number that of course, we have our own private numbers, but we have a number that we like to give you, 877-2-RADIO-U.
It's a special number.
You can call it and you can text it. Now, we join many other public institutions in having a front-facing phone number. For example, you can call the police and the fire department on the same line, 911. You can just call them. They love it if you call and just chat, check in, see how you're doing.
No, they don't.
Oh, that's not a thing?
That's not that one.
You're not supposed to do that?
You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, that's what ended up happening to Christian Palacios. He's 24. He's from Louisiana. He has made what I think might be the single greatest 911 phone call in the history of 911 phone calls.
Why was he calling?
He called 911 because he was curious as to whether he had any outstanding warrants for his arrest.
Are you allowed to call 911 for that?
Well, I'll tell you what, Nikki, since we're talking about it, you tell me.
Probably not. Probably not supposed. That you would call the non-emergency police station number.
You know what? I don't think I would call the police.
Well, I mean, if he wants to turn himself in,
so
he might want to deal with things. You push things off.
You think that's what it is?
And then finally you're like, listen, I've got to take care of it. Is there anything I need to take care of?
You know what? That's it. I'm calling the library to see if I have any overdue books. I'm going to call the police department and see if I have any outstanding warrants.
He's cleaning everything up, and I think that's actually a good step forward.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well,
but you don't call 911 because that's emergencies.
The thing I love is that he called 911 to see if the police wanted to arrest him. The answer was no, except that he broke the law by calling 911 for a non-emergency phone call.
I always wondered if they would, do you get a fine or something in the mail? Or
well, no.
Do you get a stern warning the first time?
The police came out to see him.
They do? They come? Yeah,
they came out to see him, and they asked him, son, do you know the difference between an emergency and a non-emergency phone call? And he said that he did. And they said, you just made a non-emergency phone call to 911. You're under arrest.
Okay.
And the charge was misusing 911.
Well, now, he doesn't really have a warrant. I mean, he's in custody, but does he have something?
He was given a misdemeanor summons, which carries a penalty of up to 30 days in jail and or a fine of $500. So it would be up to the judge to decide what he's going to end up getting. But, yeah. Nikki, I never thought about the idea of maybe he was just trying to clear up any old debts.
Yeah.
Like, hey, do I need to go to jail for a while? I don't know. Call the cops.
Do I have any outstanding that are left?
What's their number? 911.
If you have some bills and you're afraid, did you miss one? Did you miss any of the warrants?
Oh, my gosh.
Some people don't have a handle on what paperwork and, stuff that's going on in their life.
I get it. I do. It's just, if I had thought I had an outstanding warrant, the last person I would call is the police.
Not unless you want to take care of it. It just doesn't go away.
You know what? Your library fines do eventually.
I don't think it does with a warrant.
Believe it or not, the Riot doesn't have an endorsement deal with Nabisco. They just keep talking about all the new Oreo flavors for free. It's the Riot on RadioU.
As we go through these chip flavors, if someone wants to text, I'm curious which one actually people would be excited about.
Okay, so how many? There are 8 of them?
There's 8, but with that this is called the Lay's Taste of America. Mm-hmm. And so it starts on sale on the 30th of this month, going until September 23rd. But they're really going to try to push you to buy these online because these are regional. Okay. So depending on the flavor, depends on the region that you'll be able to find it.
Okay, so Nikki, I'd like to introduce you to.
Bell.
That's the sound of something I want.
Good morning, Bell.
That's the sound of something I don't want. This is the sound of something I absolutely don't want.
Okay, well, we got a few choices there.
Okay.
So they're bringing back a few regional flavors for Lay's. And so that'll be ketchup chips if you're in the Northeast, which is a very Canada thing as well.
It is, but they're good.
They're
if you've
good.
never had them, they don't blow me away, but they're good.
They're good. Fried green tomato chips from the Southeast. And I don't want to hear that noise the entire time.
It's not the entire time. You've got 6 more chances to not hear it.
I don't think you're going to like all these flavors.
Well, guess what?
And then for the West Coast, truffle fries are coming back, which they were actually pretty good.
They were delicious.
Those were good. So in the Gulf Coast, you get...
that's 5. That's 3.
You get Cajun spice in the Gulf Coast. Around the Texas area, you'll get chili con queso. You love a good queso.
Yeah, but I'd eat them if they're here, but I have a bad feeling.
There's the Chesapeake Bay crab spice.
I know that's good because Hudson has brought us the Utz or Oots or whatever. That's got that crab spice on it, and it's good.
Basically, it's Old Bay seasoning,
yeah.
So it's that one. For the Taste of America Lay's chips, fried pickles with ranch. But for me, I have a real fondness for fried pickles.
Oh,
I do love them.
Pause.
Yeah.
Let's put this on pause. Would you get a fried pickle at the fair next week?
Yeah, maybe I will. That's a good one.
Do they do that?
Yeah, they do.
I've never. Okay, I don't feel like I've ever seen a fried pickle.
I looked at the fair listing of the foods and it was on there.
Okay, Nikki and I are going to the fair next week.
Next Thursday, so we got to prepare. Mm-hmm. You've got Thai sweet chili as a flavor. That might be good. I used to love the Doritos, the sweet chili Dorito ones.
I don't think I want it, but it's not it doesn't get a vomit. It just gets a buzz.
This one is gross. And I feel like this is a really old thing, but pimento cheese. That is I guess a classic dish from the South.
You know what? Maybe it's good.
From the South and Southeast. I always thought it was like an older style food or something.
But that's just a cheese flavor, right?
Yeah, it's cheese with some other stuff, but it's a Southeast thing.
Pause. Like when you say other stuff, what does that mean?
It's got spices with it and maybe bacon or ham or tomatoes or peppers or something.
All right, here's what pimento cheese, according to this Google search.
Peppers?
In the cuisine of the southern United States, pimento cheese is a spread or relish made with cheese, mayonnaise, and pimentos. I'm going to tell you right now.
That sounds the worst. New England,
I know what it is. I've seen it at parties. I don't want that. I don't want it.
So the Northeast United States gets the New England lobster roll. But this one is my most favorite for the Taste of America Lay's chips, which I think we need to order these because it's mostly going to be in Chicago.
What?
But, I mean, we have a Giordano's like 2 blocks from the station, but Giordano's is doing the deep dish pizza potato chips.
Okay. I'm in for that because that combines 2 things I love. Pizza and potatoes.
Potato chips at the same time.
That's a great combination.
I was most, again, interested in that one. So Lay's will start on the 30th and goes until the end of September.
Okay. Well, you know what? Hopefully, I know they do the regional thing, but hopefully they'll mix it up a little bit. Maybe we could find some of those because I really would like to try that.
They're really pushing people to buy them all online. So you are mostly going to just find a few select regional chips, but you won't find them all.
I know that you can't hear eye rolls. I know you can't, but I just want you to know one just took place.
Hey, you know what? If we work together, guys, okay?
What if we all roll our eyes together? We'll make enough noise?
We're all in different parts of the world and different regions. We can all work together as RadioU to collect them all, and we can send some over there, and you can send some here. So we can work on it, or just order them online.
We're setting up a potato chip co-op?
Yeah, like a help thing.
You know what, Nikki? I'm willing to be the spokesperson, but I want you to do the
organization of it.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Well, we'll see what happens when they come out at the end of this month.
Leftovers from the most disgusting meal you've ever had. It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
Hey, if anybody wants to drop off, whether it's a regional or just a bag of chips, I want you to know to just feel free to stop by.
Well, I mean, the door is not open literally, but, you know, kind of in our hearts to accept potato chips anytime. I really like the wavy ones more than the other style.
What do you think you like better about a wavy chip than...
The texture.
I don't... I don't feel like I even noticed that much of a difference.
It's like having a really good waffle fry.
It all turns into just like mush in your mouth. Because like after I eat potato chips, I'm like, somebody get me a toothbrush. I got to get this stuff out of my teeth. Don't you feel that way?
It does tend to stick, but I'm not sad about it.
That's what I like about a good Dorito. I don't feel like your breath is just devastatingly bad and everything tastes like cheese for at least 6 hours.
But it doesn't stick in your teeth?
No, it does not. It doesn't quite turn to the same mush. Now, of course, that's potatoes versus corn.
And that's just how it is.
And
I always thought that was more because it gets stuck in my teeth, but I always thought that was more because I have deep teeth. My teeth are like they have a lot of grooves in them, so could have been. I just thought that was my bad.
Now, Nikki, if you found yourself in a position where you could only have one chip for the rest of your life,
what would it be?
What would be the chip that like, this is all I can have?
I would probably have a wavy Lay's potato chip, probably.
Man, that feels like somebody saying vanilla ice cream to me.
Doesn't it? Or just a plain coffee, which is what you like to drink every morning?
You think that's a plain coffee?
What are you having now?
That's a Highlander grog, cold brew.
Oh, yes. Okay, fine. Yes, but I mean, like, nothing's in it. It's a black coffee.
Nikki, that is a roasted coffee that has hints of rum and like caramel and I don't even know what, like
and potato chips.
Let's not talk about that being plain. It's anything but plain.
Tim has a good point. He likes wavy because it seems to hold the salt better.
Okay.
Thank you, Tim, for texting and also for saying good morning. That's very sweet of you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Tim. I really think that if I was going to go, like if I was going to build a hierarchy, it would start with a spicy
You love
nacho
your spicy
Dorito.
nacho. That's your favorite.
Spicy nacho Dorito is going to be at the top.
But in the long run, if that's all you could have, you love that flavor. That's great. But I think I would just go basic. So I know I'd always have something I wouldn't get tired of.
The nice thing about that wavy chip, though, is like, I mean, I don't know if we're on a deserted island and the Dharma Initiative's dropping things, but like, if we're just at home and it's all we can have, you can really dress up that potato chip.
You can. I could do nacho chips. I could do anything.
I mean, you could put cheese on it. You could take a chip. I don't know if you've ever done this, but chips dipped in barbecue sauce.
Oh, is that good? Is it?
Oh, friend. It's delicious.
What about honey mustard?
Also good.
Is it good?
In fact, you know what? During the last fundraiser, I think one of the places that has the best honey mustard sauces in the universe is a restaurant called O'Charlie's. And they donated food, and they brought a tub of honey mustard. And I actually dipped. I can't believe this, but it's all coming back to me.
You remember.
I dipped Lay's wavy chips.
Yeah.
In honey mustard, and it was spectacular.
Okay, now I'm really hungry. I really want potato chips.
It's fine.
You know what? Before we know it, it'll be lunch.
But you know what? It's practically Christmas.
Yeah. We don't need anything. We're great.
We're almost all the way there anyway.
All right, well, we're done talking about potato chips.
Nikki and Obadiah. Obadiah and Nikki.
Love, hate, hate, love.
All right, everyone in, let's go!
It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Nikki, 3 years ago, you and I and a few others wandered out to see the brand new Hollywood Godzilla film. Remember that?
I remember because we went to the fancy recliner theater.
Yeah,
one where you dine in with it. It was so expensive.
I just remember feeling really bad because I didn't realize there was like an expectation that we were going to order food. So
but you kind of had to when you were there.
When I didn't order food, the waitress was visually annoyed, like visibly. It was obvious that it was just like. And so I was like, oh, okay, I'll take a soda, right?
Does that count as something?
And I'll tell you what, did I get a refill on that? That's a negative.
It was also a little distracting having like your full meal.
Yeah, I didn't.
While we were there, so we don't go back to that one.
I know some people are into it, but I don't like that at all, actually. But Godzilla was supposed to have a sequel out this year.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out because the guy who was going to direct the Godzilla sequel, and he directed the first one, he went off and made Star Wars Rogue One instead.
He was busy.
And so they finally were like, hey, we got to get moving on this. So next year, you get Godzilla King of Monsters. That's going to be out in May of 2019. And here's your Stranger Things tie-in. It stars Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
So, 11 from Stranger Things. And yet last night they released a teaser featuring her trying to find help and you don't really know what's going on.
She's kind of typecasted, then, isn't she? Just kind of.
Yeah, like
always needing with that. Well,
I don't think she has any special powers, but then again, she might, because if you
we
watch,
all have special powers.
well,
we're all human beings.
You're right, Nikki.
We're all special
in our own way.
In our own ways.
My special power is drawing. My special power is singing.
Remember us talking about dipping potato chips in the sauce earlier? That could be a power.
My special power is honey barbecue sauce.
Yay!
But in the long-running Japanese series, there for a while, they did have a girl who was psychically connected to Godzilla. And so
maybe that turns into that.
When they casted her, I actually wondered, I was like, bro, is she going to be the psychically connected to Godzilla person?
Because if anybody could fill that role, she can do it.
I feel like she was born to play this role.
I liked the Godzilla movie. I thought, they made him a little cuter and a little bit. He was at the end the hero.
Yeah,
and I thought it was good.
You know what? I liked it too. So we should go back and watch it. Like, how long has it been
since we watched the theater? I saw it in the theater.
Okay, well, I saw it in the theater. Somebody got me Godzilla on Blu-ray for my birthday, and I know that I watched it twice because I watched it with some friends and I watched it alone on that Blu-ray, but I don't think I've seen it since then. Might be time to break it out. It's summer. It's a summer movie. Popcorn.
It's a summer like a giant Godzilla. I mean,
Maybe.
It's perfect.
All I'm saying is it's been a while.
Yeah.
And I think it might be time to revisit it.
I want to watch it again if only we could do it while we're eating dinner, making noise and having it hard to pay attention.
Well, maybe we could pay someone to come in and bother us while we're watching it.
Like a waiter or waitress just come on by. Like, why do you guys need me here? I just want you to come ask me if I need a refill or I need to push a button and then have you come by.
Well, Nikki, how it is. Like, it's fine. Nikki and I are nice people.
No, we had a good time.
We're not like Michael. What? It's just what that when I think about people being mean to servers, he's the first person I think of. What?
This is how it goes. All right, well, I will look at the trailer for the new Godzilla movie, which comes out next year.
You could be learning jujitsu right now, or how to drive a race car, or do anything productive with your life, but no. You're listening to the worst of the riot on RadioU.
Nikki, it's summer and love is in the air.
Guys, it's time to go on a date.
That's what you're smelling. And the thing about love is that sometimes love's in the air and there's a date, but sometimes there's so much love, there needs to be two dates.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's so much love, there needs to be two girls. So think about this.
Oh, you're dating two girls?
Two girls, two dates, one night.
Uh-huh.
Date number one,
this person can manage their time well.
One would think so, right? His name's Kelton, and Kelton had a date with a girl, and he told her that where they were going was a big surprise.
Yeah.
And so she let him drive her car. And so they go to the gas station. She wants to get some cigars. And so she goes into the gas station to get cigars while he's getting gas. She comes outside. He's gone.
He took the car?
He took the car
He
and
stole
left
the
her
car?
at the gas station.
Oh, boy.
And so she started calling.
Still not the worst date.
I mean, like, yeah, I've had worse dates than this. I feel like my worst date was when I wrecked the car of the girl but that's a story for another time. Excuse me, guys. Thanks.
Please, thank you so much.
So she comes out with her cigars and he's gone. She calls him. He's blocked her number. She reaches out to him on social media. He's blocked her on social media. So she calls her mom and then she starts contacting friends on social media. Lo and behold, she finds out that he had another date that night. He shows up to pick up date number two.
In date number one's car?
In date number one's car.
Wow.
They're going to a drive-in movie.
Oh, that's just terrible. That's just the knife in the back.
They're going to a drive-in movie in
your
their car. Okay, so it turns out that they are, let's see, her god sister. I don't even know what that is.
What is that?
I mean, I know what a godfather is.
Or a daughter, but what's a sister?
I don't know. But her god sister apparently saw online, she saw her posting that someone had taken her car. Guy shows up in the car and she's like, wait a minute. That's so-and-so's car. You're the guy.
You stole her car.
You stole her car. So she ended up making a little text and they went, I love this so much. She didn't figure it out until they actually got to the drive-in.
Yeah.
So then at the drive-in, she got this text, and she's like, oh, my gosh, this is the same guy. She called the police. The police showed up. He ended up having potentially a third date that night.
With the jail.
With Johnny Law. And he got taken off. But,
Interesting. Well, now... Did she say no to borrowing the car? Like, you got to sometimes be very specific on dates with it.
He did say that it was a surprise.
And I don't think that's a lie, because that was a surprise.
When she came out, I guarantee you,
now,
she was very
learned.
surprised.
That's a good reminder. If you don't know a person well enough, don't let them borrow your car.
Don't let them drive your car.
Don't let them drive your car. It might just be taken.
There are other lessons here. I'm not going to get into all of them.
That's good enough. That's a good enough one.
I'm not going to get into all of them. You know what? I'll say this right. Man, it's like I hesitate, but I want to say it. If he wants to go on a date and he doesn't have a car, he either A, needs to let his mom drive. It's embarrassing, but that's a humble man. That's one.
It's a humble bundle.
Or two, you know what? Just meet somewhere.
Now, what if you live in a more downtown environment where it's not cost effective to have a car?
Then meet somewhere. Mm-hmm. Okay? But this is Tennessee. It's not New York City, okay? Come on.
You remember that time you started your morning with a gas station breakfast sandwich and immediately regretted it? Yeah, it's like that. The Riot. RadioU.
I want to say what's up to Drew. He says the following, and he texted us, which you can do too, 877-2-RADIO-U.
Way to go, guys, on taking that extra step and actually sending us screenshots and just, listening to what we're saying, because this goes from last week. And Drew heard what we were talking about, and he heard you specifically, and he got back with us when he saw something.
Here's what it says. You guys were talking the other day about the McDonald's app. I was just looking through it this morning for a coupon for breakfast, and I found the coupon on the bottom of the picture I'm sending you. It's almost where you want to be, only 49 cents away. Drew.
We talked about McDonald's is trying so hard to get you to download their app. Mm-hmm. So hard. And so they're doing different deals for like $1. And then we mentioned, well, if only they were doing a 10-piece nugget for $1, we would have been in, but they were really just offering it for sandwiches. Mm-hmm. But Drew saw and noticed something.
The 10-piece chicken McNugget, which as far as I'm concerned is the only thing McDonald's really serves that I really, really want. And to say that I want that, that's not an exaggeration. Like
you can have that any day, anytime.
I love McDonald's McNuggets. I almost never get them, but I love them, Nikki. Heart.
I know you do. I know.
That little thing where you make the little half heart with each hand and then you heart it.
Yes, you got to do this.
Okay, I'm doing that. That's how much I heart them. I love them so much. And so I will say, go ahead and download the app. I'm having lunch with a friend today, and a question would be, he and I normally go certain places for lunch.
Yeah.
What if I suggested to him that he and I go get McNuggets for lunch? Would you go with a friend to McDonald's?
I think so.
And the other question I have is, can I use 2 of these deals, or do you just get one?
Well, you would just let him download it on his.
Well, no. I mean, that, like, because I also see here they have a $1 large fry.
You probably have to get 2 orders or something. The other thing everybody was talking about is they did a free fry, I think, for, National French Fry Day. And they were talking about now, again, they're trying so hard to get you to use this app that on Fridays, you can still, through the summer, through the end of the year, every Friday still get a free fry if you use the app, if you spend $1.
I checked, and it's 1 coupon per visit.
Per visit, yeah.
Yeah, so, that. But, okay, so you're telling me I can still get You
get a free fry every Friday if you spend $1.
Oh, what are you doing to me, guys?
Like, hey,
what are you doing?
Can I live on just French fries alone?
And the answer is yes.
Yes, you can.
You can, and you'll probably be fine. It's nothing that you need to worry about.
I like when a company is really trying to, it's called courting. They're just trying to get you to come see them, to come see their app.
Well, I'll tell you, $1.49 for a 10-piece McNugget. It really only saves me about $1, but it's still pretty great.
Feels good though, right?
It does. And then like here's a buy one breakfast sandwich, get one for a penny. I do love the McDonald's breakfast sandwich, guys. That is something that I do get there sometimes.
We'll just close the app though if we need to.
Don't worry, I did.
You're hearing it for the first time, and it sounds terrible.
It's the worst of the Riot on on Radio U.
So the big to-do earlier this week was Amazon Prime Day. I'm glad to see that I wasn't the only one that was following it. My neighbor asked me yesterday, like, hey, did you buy anything on Prime Day?
A bit much.
Yeah, I think it was just because they saw a package on my porch, which oddly enough was not from Amazon. Just weird.
I was more curious how well it did because, like, I had massive problems on the first day. I got nothing but dogs for days with that old up-o screen. So even, like, when I woke up the next morning, we get up so early, you would still click on certain things, and it would still lead you to eventually a problem. And then finally, on, what day would that have been? Tuesday? It seemed like it was all cleaned up and working, but it was a mess.
I had a little bit of trouble, but not to the extent that you're kind of saying there. But Amazon says that they sold more than 100 million products in 36 hours. On
the Prime sale thing?
Right. So they started at 3 p.m. Eastern on Monday, and it ran through, well, they say 36 hours, so it must have been, 3 a.m. At some point. So, well, yeah, that makes sense because that would be midnight on the West Coast. So, yeah, they say 100 billion products. They acknowledge the fact they had glitches on the app and the website that caused some difficulty. But in general,
they still sold enough.
Yes. And I have to give them credit. I mean, the first Prime Day was a huge bust. It was just lots of worthless stuff. Last year was okay, but this year was really... I saw a lot of things that if I had kind of more disposable income,
you would have
may have gone ahead and gotten. I wish my neighbor, and this makes a ton of sense, I actually need a new suitcase. She bought a suitcase on Prime Day.
I don't even look. I can't even think of that stuff. Yeah. And you're like, oh, wait a minute. That would have been a deal to have.
She actually got a fantastic deal on a suitcase, which I realize sounds weird, but the last time I traveled, I was like, man, I've got to get a new suitcase.
Yeah, but that's like a grown-up purchase and so boring.
So I ended up just I bought 2 4K Blu-rays.
See, that's much more our speed.
That's me. That is definitely me. And they showed up yesterday, so I'm hoping to get some time to watch them this weekend. But
I want to know what Amazon's normal selling numbers are for 36 hours.
That's a good question.
So I want to know its number and then compare it to, well, how well did the Prime Day stuff do?
I don't have answers for that, but I have a couple of more statistics here. They say that items for Prime Day were bought from people in 17 different countries. The top-selling item in the United States was the Instant Pot.
The Instant Pot? Yes, I saw an article on that.
Yes, I heard somebody else talking about it. It's some kind of like a crock pot slash pressure cooker.
Yeah, it's weird. They said that it always does so well when selling, and then they had some copycat deals with it, but that's like the number one thing.
I had someone else say that the Instant Pot was their top seller at Christmas as well.
Weird.
I'd never heard of it until yesterday. Let's see. Bosch cordless drills were the top selling item in the UK. It says that July 17th was the biggest sales day for Amazon smart home devices in history. And they purchased more than 5 million toys, beauty products, PCs, apparel, and kitchen appliances. And then I just got a text here from, let's see, Shrew said that their roommate got an Oculus. Okay. And then Brandon says, I had the same dogs for days issue on Prime Day.
You had the same problem I did. Okay.
Yeah, so, you know what? It was kind of a fun little thing that happened in the middle of the summer to pick up. Because like I said, normally I put my movie buying off until Black Friday. And I picked up 2 movies that I had been planning to get on Black Friday. I got them in July. So that was kind of fun. And Amazon thought it was fun, too. Because they got money.
You gave them money.
Yeah. So thanks, Amazon.
Boy, all you got to do is put a title on it, and suddenly we're just all over it.
We're all buying.
Think Obadiah owns too many video games?
Get us out of here. Roger that.
Well, maybe you'll think differently when... Okay, you're right. There's no conceivable scenario where anyone needs that many. The Riot on Radio U.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Right?
Yeah.
Nikki, when I say winner, do you get excited?
Yeah, who doesn't want to win?
If I said to you, like, Nikki, you're a winner.
Oh, that's nice.
It's like, yeah.
I'm winning today. We're having a great day.
And if I'm winning, that means I'm a winner. And you know what winners do, Nikki? They win.
They do.
That's what winners do. Winners win.
It's a lot. You're winning. You're doing a great job.
So I want you to look yourself in the mirror right now and ask a question. Am I a winner?
Yes.
Then go out there and win.
Okay, Coach.
Go win.
Okay.
That's what winners do.
Put me in the game.
Winners
Put me
win.
in the game.
All right. Now, get out in that factory and produce this phone.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought it was something else.
No. That's the code name of Samsung's upcoming phone, allegedly.
Winner?
Supposedly.
Or get back to work.
No, it's called Winner.
Oh, wow.
And you know what winners do, Nikki? They win.
They do.
So there is this rumor about a Samsung phone. It will not be out this year. It will be out next year. But they say that it is the killer phone. Or, the winner.
The more a company says that, though, that makes us more likely to think that it's just going to be another basic phone.
Now, keep in mind, this is all rumor, but again, its code name is Winner, and they say that Samsung is incredibly excited about this device because they think...
But no details on why they're so excited? That's supposed to just be...
I do have some details.
Okay.
Now, again, remember, this is all rumor, so this is us just wasting your time.
That could be said for...
a lot of things.
A lot of the
Maybe
show.
the whole show.
Yeah.
Okay. But this will be the folding phone that we have heard about.
I saw patents and stuff for that for the last couple of years.
They've talked about it for years.
Foldable phone.
But they're saying next year, and this
like a flip phone.
A flip phone that you would open up, but it'll be part of that, like the
flexible
OLED,
stuff.
like flexible stuff that can be folded over like that. You'll open it up, and it will basically be a 7-inch tablet when you open it up with pretty much no bezel. Any kind of physical buttons will be on the bottom or the sides, but as I understand it, you'll be able to make phone calls with it closed.
Yeah.
But then you open it up and do all
whatever
of your
you
other
want to
kind of stuff. But, okay, here's where it gets crazy. The estimated cost, according to this rumor, what do you think, Nikki?
All right, so it's a phone, also still a tablet as well, and meant to be like, hey, this could be your laptop,
right?
Or your
they don't
kind of depending on how much you use it for.
Okay,
but enough of a screen to at least be your tablet.
7-inch. That's a pretty big screen.
I'm gonna say $12.99.
I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to let it go at that price.
I can't take it off the lot.
No, I'm sorry.
Sir, I'm a winner.
You know what? Winners win this car, but
$16.99?
No, it's actually they say $1,500.
$1,500? How are we supposed to do that?
No, I'm out. I'm out. If for $1,500, I'd rather go buy a new MacBook.
Yeah, I mean, you could just have that, and we just won't call you.
Yeah, that's wild. But that's the rumored cost of this new Samsung device. Not until next year.
The iPhones, when they went to 1,000,
seem reasonable.
That's pretty reasonable, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. I can't. Guys, I can't live in this world. I can't. They want too much. I want to have nice things, but I can't. $1,500
for that?
It's a phone. I'm looking at like the Moto G4. It's $200 off contract. I'm like, it's pretty nice. It seems good enough.
It's hard to find, honestly, if you're a cell user like that's just middle of the road. You don't want too much of the high end. Like, we're not paying $1,500, but I also would like some coverage, and I don't need, a flip phone, which some people just do because they use a tablet or they carry a laptop around. So I want like in the middle.
Yeah. Well,
just in the middle.
For real. Like, I started looking at low cost, like $200 to $300 phones.
Yeah.
And
which is sad that you just said that.
What?
That's the low cost phones.
I know.
Isn't it just weird?
That's still pretty expensive.
Yes, it is, but it's the low cost phones.
Your morning, but without yelling, laughing, or music.
Don't deprive me of that.
We wouldn't dream of it. It's the Riot on Radio U.
Let's get some history here. J.J. Abrams, popular director these days, and he runs a production company called Bad Robot. And Bad Robot, you'll see at the beginning of all his movies and whatnot. And in the middle of that, like, he does a lot of directing, but he also produces movies.
Yeah.
And back in 2000-something, he produced a movie called Cloverfield. Tons of secrecy surrounding it. A lot of people thought it was a Godzilla movie. It ended up being a Godzilla-like movie. It was kind of a found footage movie about a monster in New York and following these four friends on their adventures. And that movie, you know what? It holds up pretty well. I watched Cloverfield, I want to say like last fall or something like that. I got curious to go back to it, and I thought it held up way better than I thought it would.
So then there was the one after that, 10
Cloverfield Lane.
Was that the one with John Goodman
Yes, it was.
in the bunker thing?
Mm-hmm.
And then came...
Which, by the way, that's a really good movie.
That's also a good one?
It is tense and kind of like... it's not scary, but it's tense.
Yeah.
And ooh, it's something, dude.
Then came the Netflix one.
The Cloverfield Paradox.
Yes, and that was after the Super Bowl this year, but it was on Netflix.
Yeah, and it had problems, but it was all right.
I mean, everybody said that because it wasn't in the movie theaters.
Yeah,
it was just all right to be on Netflix.
You essentially watched it for free.
Sure.
I mean, with your Netflix subscription. So everybody kept saying after that came out, like, no, dude, look, there's going to be another there's going to be another Cloverfield movie. It's coming out this fall. It's going to explain all the stuff from that movie.
And it seemed like they were saying that was supposed to go into theaters like the other Cloverfields had.
That's right. So this other Cloverfield movie, quote unquote, was supposed to come out this fall from J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot. Well, they dropped the trailer for what this movie is, and unless they change it, and at the last minute they're like, hey, it's a Cloverfield movie, it's not a Cloverfield movie. It's called Overlord, and it is a movie that is...
Is it zombies?
Zombie Nazis.
Well... they're just putting everything in there.
So think about it like this. The idea is you follow a guy who has been drafted into World War II. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's supposed to be D-Day or what, but he's a paratrooper. They parachute into wherever, and I'm just kind of describing the trailer to you here. And then they end up in some Nazi bunker where they discover these Nazi experiments that are going on. And apparently the Nazis have developed what seems to be from the trailer, and I'm oversimplifying, a zombie serum of some kind.
Yeah.
And it's turning people zombies, and it looks gross.
Well, I mean, we talked the other day. It might be nice to have a nice zombie movie, a new one.
It
could be, but it has potential.
It's almost been long enough for it to come back around, hasn't it?
So Overlord will be in theaters October 25th. But you're right. Everybody's still saying, oh, Overlord, but it might be something with Cloverfield. They're still keeping it as an open possibility.
I will say, I could see them at the very end of the movie.
Connecting somehow.
Dropping some kind of a Cloverfield thing. I could see that. I could totally see that happening. I could also see it not happening.
Guess you have to find out.
Maybe the Cloverfield Paradox was so bad, they are like, you know what? Maybe we don't link things together.
Now we need Overlord.
Let's go ahead and
Let's just move into that.
Let's just do, it's going to be its own thing. Let's just let people laugh at how ridiculous the phrase Nazi zombies is. And yet at the same time, they're intrigued. Which I'm sorry to say is me.
The Riot used to be 3 people.
Please tell me we're not discussing video games again.
The other guy didn't make it. It's the Riot.
Now, Nikki has done something today like...
I don't know why. Sometimes, you feel the need to purge or clean out. And I feel like we're doing that.
Well, I mean,
I'm chopping some things.
You're just cutting stuff out of your life.
Yeah, basically.
You're just like, I don't even need you anymore.
Well,
so tell them, first off, you broke up with Sling TV.
I just haven't watched it in forever. You know how sometimes you just keep things and it's just there?
Yeah, that's their whole business model.
I know. That's actually a lot of companies' business models.
So many companies, they're like, sign up for monthly and then forget we exist.
Well, and you would use it like every so often, but I've literally like not watched it in months. Uh-huh. And so I was so proud. You know, like when you cancel something and it's a monthly subscription and you canceled it 2 days into your new month. And so you still have like the whole month left.
Oh, yeah.
That you still pay for. But I canceled it a day before it was going to cancel or its new month would start. Uh-huh. So I made it right at the end.
Good job, Nikki.
So I was excited for that.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. It didn't stop there.
No, it didn't. This is the one that I find it a little shocking.
Well, I've been so busy, and then I've also not been using Apple Music a whole lot. But I pay for YouTube Red. So when I cut Sling TV, I was like, well, should I dump YouTube Red? Or should I dump Apple Music? Or should I dump both? Mm-hmm. And then Apple Music, it's good. I used to use Spotify.
Do you guys see how she's now having kind of like a hard time talking about it?
No, but YouTube Red has YouTube Music. It's not the fanciest, but it'll do. Yeah. It's just fine. And so I cut Apple Music, and I'll just use YouTube Music since it comes with my YouTube Red. Did everybody follow all that? There was a lot.
So basically, Nikki was kind of paying for 2 music services.
And now I've gotten about $40-something back a month. So that's pretty good.
Right? And you know what? I use YouTube
YouTube
Music, or you can also access it through Google Play Music. Mm-hmm. Either one. It's fine.
It's just fine. That's all I need is just fine.
For a while there, I had Spotify, and I actually made the YouTube switch because I wanted to do commercial-free YouTube because I do like to watch YouTube.
That's still the most important thing for me because most of the stuff I watch is on YouTube, so I'd prefer to still keep Red. So.
And I found their music service to be good enough. Every once in a while, there's an exclusive that comes along, but I don't care about most of that. So.
Now, what we left this at, and no one's making any changes now, okay?
All right, I'm listening.
The only other thing that I spend a whole lot of money on, and I start to wonder, is it all worth it, is going to be Amazon Prime.
I completely agree with you.
Is the only thing. No one panic, no one nothing, but I got an app I never use. The shopping one I do, but I don't use any of the other stuff they give you, nor do I really want to, but I don't usually use Prime a whole lot for their shows. So let's think about that one next time.
Well, next month they've got that Jack Ryan show that I'm very interested in.
Right. Well, you'll
John
want to try
Krasinski
that.
And whatever. But I'm really interested in that. I'm hoping.
If I cut Prime, do they make you go through the whole rest of your year, or does it just you get money back?
Oh yeah. Did you pay? If you paid 12 months up front,
it automatically
then yes.
does it.
Yeah, it'll stay for the rest of your time.
All right. Well, that's it. That's all I've done today. That's all I could possibly cut unless I keep looking.
Nikki, you've inspired me. I'm going to go ahead and cancel Hulu.
Are you?
Yeah.
But I thought you used. Well, you got Direct Thing though. I mean, well, how else will you watch 30 Rock, your old favorite show?
I have 6 episodes left.
Yeah, and then you've rewatched it
all
again?
And then I've rewatched the entire show this summer.
And Hulu will always come back and be like, you want a free month? It's like, can you come on back?
Hey, for all the trash talk I do for Hulu, I've used it a ton. I have watched 30 Rock, but I've watched a few other things they've had on Hulu, and that's been I've had a great time with that.
Cut down on. I don't have a lot of time to watch or listen to things.
Sure.
So we'll just we'll cut back then.
Okay. And I mean, in fairness, I was gonna cancel Hulu
anyways. But while you're doing
it's cancel day,
it's like a group therapy thing.
Well, yeah, you guys go ahead and get out there and cancel some stuff.
Pick 1 or 2 items.
Turn it up loud enough, and your neighbors will call the cops because it's obviously a cry for help. It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
Dude. All right, Nikki, I told Nikki that nobody's going to care, and she's like, no, they might.
Well, we don't know unless we hear it.
When I tell you what it is, I think you'll decide that I was right. Nobody really cares that much.
Superman?
Mm-hmm.
We're not starting off on a great foot there.
I told you.
Okay, what is it?
They are right now working on a brand new updated edition of the 1970-something Superman the movie. And they're going to be releasing it in 4K, and it looks like they may even be giving it a limited run in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
I told you. I told you.
How exciting!
You know what, guys? I know it's.
He loves the movie. It's fine.
I do love the movie, but you know what else I love? I actually love seeing, and this is where they get me. I love seeing restorations of old films because it's fascinating to look at them. Because it's almost like I actually like all kinds of stuff like that. I've watched all kinds of those. When you see something that's like World War II in HD, I look at that or whatever. There's something about the restoration of film that I'm fascinated by. And so I've looked at all kinds of different things. And it's just interesting to see because a lot of movies look old, and it has more to do with how they've taken care of the quality of the presentation than it does to do with the actors or the whatever. And so it's always neat to me to see it restored. And so they did a restoration of Superman quite a while ago, and they released it on DVD. No, was it for the DVD or the Blu-ray? I can't remember, but it was amazing to watch it. Like, it was just like, it looked like they had done a retro movie.
But now they had filmed it, sure.
And so it was just fascinating to look at it like, wow, no, this is actually an old movie. And so the idea that they're going back to this old movie and cleaning it up and bringing it forward, that's the kind of stuff that I actually get excited about on Blu-ray or 4K or whatever, because the idea that they've restored the print and they've made this new thing and this presentation, and I love revisiting old films, favorites especially, but just older films that have gotten that kind of treatment and been brought ahead on like a new format or being re-released in theaters. I think it's awesome.
Well, now you'll get a new one that you like.
And I get it. It's pretty nerdy, but if you guys want to know something about something I really like, that is like all Obadiah the on-air person. This is my thing.
You love it.
I love this stuff. So when I saw, like seconds before we went to air, someone had retweeted from somebody else that they were doing this, and I was like, oh!
So wait, which one are they remastering?
This is the one. It's. This says that it's 40th anniversary. Wow, I had no idea it was that old, but I mean, do the math. So 1978?
So it's Superman. Which one?
The original. Well, I suppose they've been making Superman stuff forever, but this would be the very first Christopher Reeve Superman movie called Superman.
From 40 years ago that they're going to remaster.
Yeah, they're making a fork. I'm so on board for that.
If you were offended or disgusted by anything Obadiah said this morning...
If you weren't so dumb, I might be offended.
You must be new. You'll get used to it. The Riot on Radio U.
I've got good news and iffy news on coffee. Check this. Some guys at, what's the name of this? The Stevens Institute of Technology did a study with coffee, and here's what they figured out. That with coffee, of course, you know, coffee can wake you up. It's got caffeine in it.
Yeah.
They've actually found that the smell of coffee
can
have a placebo effect.
Sure.
And can actually wake you up even if you don't get to drink the coffee.
I totally believe that. It's why I'll sometimes go smell the coffee grounds because it smells so good, but I don't need to drink it. And you're just like, oh, it gives you a little jolt.
So think about that. Maybe you don't want to drink more coffee. Just go sit where it's being made.
I was going to say, if you're buying it, but you're just not brewing it, that's an expensive little sniffing habit.
Well, you know what? Maybe you don't need expensive coffee to smell good.
True.
So you could buy some cheap coffee.
Or at
get
work,
a whiff.
you know, if everybody else drinks it, but you're just there, just taking a smell in the morning.
So not to get super intense on their, like how they did it, but what they ended up basically doing was giving people algebra tests and sometimes having the smell of coffee and sometimes not. And they said that performance was always higher if the smell of coffee was in the room.
Wow, that is weird.
Isn't that fascinating? Okay, but here's another one. Some people, this is a different study, but still on coffee. Some people say like, hey, I drink coffee and it boosts my metabolism. And I either A, skip breakfast, or B, I eat a smaller breakfast because I'm having coffee. And I mean, a lot of people do talk about that. But they say that if you do that, that people who drink coffee that way have a tendency to eat 10% less breakfast, but they make up for it with even more calories later in the day.
Well, yeah, because a lot of people say, oh, it's a great weight loss thing because you won't eat as much as an appetite suppressant. But yeah, what you're saying is, according to this, you're probably going to get it in later.
That's what the study shows, is that they were tracking people with their coffee as their weight loss thing and looking at it, and they found that people ate more later in the day if they didn't eat that breakfast, even though, like, again, coffee, they're like, no, coffee will do this, it does that. Looks like you're still getting yours.
Every time you talk about coffee, though, there's always another study or a survey or something that says it's hard with coffee. It just depends on who you are and what it does for you.
I was going to say, you really probably just need to take a look at yourself. Like, how does it affect you where
as you get another cup?
And grab yourself another cup and keep on going.
Some research today as you have more coffee.
Well, yeah. Nikki, you can't just take these people's word for it. You got to
find
experiment.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.
My special power is honey barbecue sauce.
Yay!